Welcome to the Corner Office Podcast. I'm here with Marc Rouse at the Royal Ottawa Golf Club, prestigious golf club. It's like this gem that everybody wants to play, and I have not played yet. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. Yeah, appreciate it.
I just want to say, first thing when I got in here, it's super clean in here. It's cleaner than any other golf course I've ever been to. So the bathrooms were pristine and the towels and everything.
We pride ourselves on customer service here. So,
yeah.
But the clubhouse is beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's it's majestic. It's got so much history.
Yeah.
I read online that it was founded in 1891.
1891.
Tell me about that.
Right around the corner, actually, there's a print or a picture of a letter that King George V declared us as part of the royal family in 1912. So we were founded in 1891. It was actually 9 holes over on Sandy Hill.
Really?
And that's why it's called the Ottawa Golf Club, or it was at that time. And actually, over the years, it moved over to 12 holes by the casino. And then in 1904, I'll say, it came over to this property. But then in 1912, that's when King George V designated us as part of the royal family. So
there's been a lot
of history, a lot of cool things, and
probably a lot of crazy golfers been here. Eh?
A lot of stories for sure. Golf. We hosted the Canadian Open. And George Knudsen, famous Canadian golfer. We're sitting in the Alexa Frazier room. She's been one of the best amateur golfers. There's been so many, famous golfers come through here. You name it.
That's so cool.
We've had it. So yeah.
So tell me about your journey into getting into golf. Were you always an athlete? Were you always a golfer as a kid, or?
Yeah, not always a golfer actually. Started out. I'm from Southern Ontario originally, and big into baseball down there.
Okay,
So that's where I never played hockey as a kid. It was like summer was your baseball and time to shine kind of thing. And so I played competitive baseball till a certain age, and just at a point in my life, I got to a point where I needed to decide if I wanted to continue in baseball and try to make it a career. And I chose actually to quit that year. And 3 of my friends were getting a membership at my 9-hole golf course in my hometown. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go take up golf. And I had played golf, but never really took it seriously. And for me at a young age, I could hit it a long ways. For me, I was like hitting a home run. And I had that hand-eye coordination, so it came kind of naturally. And it's very, similar in terms of how you use the ground and how you use your body. So for me, it was very easy. And once you get that feeling, that feeling when you hit a really good one.
No, I don't.
It can be addictive, right? And for me, I was about 13 years old and really found that passion for the game and really knew at a young age that this is what I want to do.
Wasn't your parents who drove you into it?
No, my dad golfed, but never really forced me to do anything or sports at all. It was me that was
really
the passionate one and always wanted to be out there. And it's just all of a sudden I knew that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
As a kid, I'm 13 years old and I'm biking out there to the golf course. I stored my clubs there. The membership was like $400.
Yeah.
It was inexpensive, and I had a paper route to pay for it. And,
nice.
But basically, 16.
So were you good?
I thought I was good. Yeah.
I'm ready to do this for the rest of my life.
Well, compared to other golfers at my little golf course, I was in the top for sure.
Okay.
Like I said, I had that kind of hand-eye coordination that really helped and could hit it a long ways. So I got attention at a young age. And, I grew up still, I'm 36 years old, but I grew up golfing where juniors weren't really allowed on the golf course, or it was kind of like, what's this kid doing out here?
Yeah.
And so we had a tough time, trying to even get onto a golf course. In fact, there's been courses I haven't been allowed to play as a junior at 13, 14 years old.
That must be frustrating.
It was, my dad really found it frustrating because he wants to go out with his son and sorry, we can't allow him on. I'm going to beat all the adults there that day probably, right? Yeah. But I'm not allowed on. So it was for me, I just biked out there, loved it. It was my own little space and my own world. And I knew kind of around the age though, at 16, that I wanted to go to school for this. I wanted to make a career out of it. If I wasn't going to go on the PGA Tour, I knew that I had a passion for the industry, and that's where Niagara College had a business admin golf program.
Specifically for golf.
Sign me up. Yeah, I'm ready to go. And I knew right away, a lot of my family was from Niagara, that area, so I knew I would be close to some family if I went to school there.
Yeah.
And I could get paid to work at a golf course.
Yeah. I know I got a cousin who lives in Niagara. He's like, the golf courses don't close.
No, I would golf all year sometimes.
Yeah,
You're guarded by the escarpment down there.
Okay,
And
it's just different, the climate.
10 degrees warmer at least.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to be able to do that. And we would golf in January, February sometimes, and there'd be snow in the sandbanks or snow in the bunker, excuse me. And you would just take the ball out or whatever, but they'd be open. Yeah. So it was a great area for golf for sure. And a good program for, at that time, it was a requirement to get into the PGA of Canada. You had to do a business admin and a golf diploma as well. So it was, I knew right away.
So take me to like that process of getting your PGA of Canada. Like it's a status license.
Yeah, well, it changed. It's changed over the years. Even in my time after I've done, it's changed since then. But at my time, it was you had to do a 3-year business program, or the business admin golf program, which was still a 3-year, 2-year business and 1-year golf. And that was a requirement to make sure that the people that got into the golf industry were not just there to play golf and free golf.
Yeah.
So I went to school for it, and then you have to do what's called a playability test. So I had to go out to a golf course, 36 holes one day, and shoot a certain number. And once you shoot that number, it depends on the course rating and things like that. Mine was 155. So I shot that number, became a Class B pro, it's called.
Okay.
And basically you're a pro, and you can start to kind of teach, and you're working under the PGA of Canada and doing certifications and classes all through them. Took about 4 years after school to become now a Class A pro. So I can...
That's a different test.
It's a different test. Yeah, exactly. You had the playability test, and then you have more of the paper test kind of thing. So an exit exam is what they used to call it. So yeah, it was. Now I can become a head professional, director of golf, GM, and keep climbing up in the golf industry. So
wow,
yeah, part of our requirement.
So when did you start playing scratch golf then?
Actually, so because I was a baseball player, I never was a good, extremely good junior golfer, I'll say.
Okay.
I was good, in central Western Ontario. I won that event, which took our high school off to OFSA one year. So I kind of had a later start in golf. Grade, 12, I started to kind of, make a name for myself. But really it's in the last 10 years that I've become better and better. So a scratch golfer, I would say, let's call it, age 20.
20.
Which most golfers now around here, you see juniors that are 13 years old and they're scratch golfers. So it's,
on like the white tees.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, wow. 13.
So the young golfers now are getting better. So for me, it came late in life, and that's where the more I learned about the game, the more I learned about the swing and educated myself. Of course, my game reflected and got better.
Yeah. Okay. So what's a good score for you?
If I'm around par, I'm very happy. Under par is what I should be.
Here.
Yeah, here, because I know this course, I should be around par, or if not under. My challenge is, and this is the golf industry, is the more you work or more you get into the golf industry, the less golf you typically do play. So it's hard for a lot of pros to go out and perform when you haven't played or practiced, right?
Do you overthink it then, because you're being so technical with your students? Or
I would say my expectations maybe are higher. I know I can do it, but when I don't do it, that's when it eats you, right? And that's just practice. It's like anything you do, right? You got to put practice into your profession, and you get better and more consistent. And that's this game is a consistency, and that's where it boils down to.
So it's really a job.
It is.
It's a passion, but it's a job. It
is.
You're not playing golf on your off days, would you say?
Typically, no.
Typically, no, or typically yes?
Not.
Okay,
no,
yeah.
That's where life takes over.
Yeah.
There's a wife and a dog now, and a house that I have, and there's other priorities and things that happen. And when you work in the industry, it's long days and a long summer, and sometimes on your day off, the last thing you want to do is golf.
Really?
You want to go out and do some other things to kind of take your mind off golf, so you do come back refreshed.
Yeah.
So yeah, on my days off, I when I was young and single, I would be here all the time, playing golf, practicing. But again, like I said, life takes over.
Yeah. I was gonna say you're one lucky guy. Like you're one of the select few people that their wives don't get pissed off when you're at the golf course.
Not all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Depends on the day, but yeah, I can use the excuse of work. Right?
I'm working.
Like,
Come on.
It's work.
I have to get better.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to teach if I'm not good?
No, she's probably going to watch this. Right? Yeah. So, no, I have a very understanding wife, and golf industry is a lot. But then when I do have the fun days of going out to golf, she's fully understanding. So
yeah. So how did it
nice,
work when the pandemic hit? Like, were you teaching online, or was that a thing?
It turned to more instructional videos online.
Okay.
Being at a private club here, I don't typically advertise and look for lessons outside of here. I have our membership that is my main priority. So we were just trying to educate them and keep them kind of engaged in the golf industry and golf and doing things throughout the pandemic. From home, we were working. We have lots of different things that we've sent out to them to help with instruction. So
is that like, what's the main golfer here? Like the main demographic of members here?
It's changed. I've been here since 2010. And I mean, at that point, it was a little older average age, and now we're seeing with the pandemic, especially, that there's a lot of younger golfers coming in, wives, families. All the kids are coming in, and it's really good. Obviously, great for the game and great for the industry. So now it's like just a wide mix of everybody.
Everything.
Yeah, which is awesome to see. So, and
Yeah.
then Brooke Henderson.
Brooke Henderson.
Huge impact around this area.
Yeah.
There's a lot of young
Does she
female
play here?
golfers. No, but basically her influence in getting people
Just
into
the
the
Ottawa
game
region.
has made the game younger too, right? We're seeing
Yeah.
a lot of junior girls in the game, which never used to be the case in the
I have 2 daughters. I would love to get them into golf.
there you go.
But
How old?
They're 2 and 6 months.
Okay.
So yeah, no,
you got some time.
I got some time, but I'm trying not to be I want to force you into playing.
Yes.
That's why I asked you if your parents were like, "Hey, Mark, golf."
Yeah.
So I'm trying to not be like that, because I know as a kid, when your parents force something on you, you just don't want to do it.
It's
right?
not as fun anymore.
It's a bit different. So what's the best part about being a member here? Like, what's the allure for somebody to want to join? I know, of course, the history it's prestigious, but like,
there's the prestige for sure. I mean, the clubhouse, the golf course itself is just
in impeccable shape.
always the best conditions. I mean, I'm a little biased, obviously, but always the best conditions. Our greens are known to be, some of the smoothest, fastest. Our superintendent does a great job here. The history for sure has a role, and the prestige and the service. That's my job, is to make sure that whatever the member needs, we're taking care of it for them.
So like, they're booking directly with you, like their lessons and stuff like that?
Lessons, but that, I'm
Fittings?
doing, club fittings, you name it. Anything you need as a member, that's my job. I'll take care of you.
Okay, so it's not just teaching.
No, we do everything. I run the day-to-day, basically, day-to-day operations of the club. So if we have a men's night, if we have a shotgun, if we have a whatever it is.
So tournaments, is that you take care of that?
Run everything. So
Oh, wow.
yeah.
That's a lot to handle. And it's just you.
No, there's a team.
Okay. You're just taking all the credit.
I'm
That's
taking all the credit. Yeah, no, my boss, director of golf,
Okay.
is in charge, and then we have 4 assistants that
Wow.
work under him and
Nice.
do a lot of the work. Yeah.
Nice. All right, well, back to your game. Like, what's the best part of your game?
So over the years, it's changed. I used to tell everybody around here that I was the best putter.
Okay.
And then I went through some mental issues. The Y word, I don't even like to say it. But
Okay.
yeah, you had to think about that.
What's
The yip.
word? Oh, okay. Okay.
But basically, my putting is my strong part.
Because you were talking about you hit it a long way.
I do hit it a long way, or I used to hit it a little longer. And in fact, when I was 18, I was in the Ontario, or I think it was Canadian Long Drive Championships. In my hometown, we hosted, and still host every year, actually, I think the championships.
At 18.
And I had qualified and was going up against guys in their 30s, 40s that are on Team Canada. And
Wow.
pretty cool.
So what were you driving it?
To qualify for that, I hit it 330.
330 carry.
18 years at total.
Total,
At
okay.
18 years old, though, yeah.
18.
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
A longer driver? Or?
At that point, I did.
Okay.
It was a long driver. Now I just have my stock 45 and a half inch.
Extra stiff, though.
At that point, it was extra stiff. Yeah, swinging a little faster.
Okay.
But what I learned after that was how to control the ball a little bit more. And in order to play this game, you got to hit it straighter, not always further.
The average golfer cannot control the driver.
That's harder to do.
That's so hard to do, and I'm one of those guys. So,
There you go.
what do you drive it now?
I mean, on average, I'll carry it out there 280, and
Okay.
depending on the conditions and how it lands, it'll get to 3, if not just a little past. So,
Okay.
yeah, but I'm not going
Control is more important than hitting it 330.
control.
Yeah, but
Unless you're Bryson DeChambeau.
yeah. So you're like on a 6-foot putt, you're making that.
Confident.
You're confident.
Yeah.
I'm staring at that, and the side, the hole's looking this big, like,
that's-
especially to save par, right? Like,
For sure, right? And that's where my job as a coach is to help people with certain things, and putting being my passion. How to even just build that confidence.
yeah, I need to see you.
Yeah,
Because putting is like one of those things where I'm just like, if it goes in, I'm happy.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go in, I was expecting that.
Right.
So and I think a lot of average golfers are like that, right?
yeah. But
Like-
that's where I get up to a putt and I tell myself I'm going to make this, right? And it's a little arrogance, it's a little borderline confident, cocky, but you got to be that.
Yeah.
And if you look at the best golfers in the world, they're so confident in their abilities, they know they can just step up and hit that, no problem.
So was there a point in your career, or I guess in your late teens, that you were thinking of joining a tour, or?
I tried.
Okay.
I mean, definitely. As a kid, I knew I wasn't, like I said, into it so early.
Yeah.
I was late to the game, and there's just so many good, Division I golfers in the States and different schools. It's
very tough.
It's very tough, but I was fortunate that my parents had a place in Florida. And when I was single, I would go down to Florida. And obviously we were closed here in the winter months. We didn't have indoor golf at that time. And so I would have, January, February, March off typically. I would go down, hang out with my parents in Florida and play mini tour events.
Wow.
And that's where, I had to give it a shot to see just how good I was or how I compared to other golfers in the world.
Yeah.
I knew I was good locally. I knew I was good in Ottawa, but how am I worldwide?
Yeah.
And fortunate, there's a learning curve. I got to actually play against Brooks Koepka before he was even on the PGA Tour. This is way
side
back,
by side.
not in the same group, but in the same tournaments.
Cool.
But then I saw him win this minor league golf tour that I was on the east coast of Florida. He won a 2-day tournament, made $10,000, and he took that and went on to the European Tour to win. And then within a year, he's on the PGA Tour winning.
Yeah.
So for me, I took, okay, I'm not good. I'm not, Brooks Koepka. He shot 62 that day. Wow. I shot 79.
Okay.
I'm getting beat.
Yeah.
But these guys do something different than I do. So what is that? What can I learn from them that I can take back to my students? Because that was my job, is to teach and be here. So what can I do to make my students better?
Yeah.
Not only me, but what can I do?
That's the important thing.
And why are they better? What are they doing? Right. And so that's what I would learn and watch and pick up on cues and things that they're practicing and doing, and and ask them, right? Sit down with them after.
Yeah. I heard the grind of golf, like trying to get on a tour, is very grueling, and you can end up with just being broke.
Yeah. You need, entry fees alone are one thing. You need a hotel, you need to pay a caddy, you need to, go course to course. So travel, it adds up.
If you don't make the cut, it's like the caddy's making more money than you.
I was always told, to give it a go, you need 100,000, right?
Okay.
Just to get out there, and you're living in your car maybe, and it's a grind, because there are so many good golfers in the world. I'm the 1% of the 1%, let's say, right? That are that elite. The guys that make it on tour are that good.
So like if I was saying I want to quit my job, I got savings, and I want to get on any type of tour,
you better put in 12 hours a day of work practicing.
Okay.
And
like, you think there's actually odds? Like a point 0.01%?
There's a percentage, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But basically, it's you got to dedicate yourself to it. You're practicing all day. You're playing all day. You're working out. You're doing all the different things. Like nowadays, it's not just John Daly step up to the tee,
Smoke a couple cigarettes.
smoke a cigarette, crack your Coke, and hit a tee shot, right? He still does that, but there's more to it now. So it's how much you want to dedicate yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So like what's your approach when you're teaching the members, your students, and what's the first thing that you start with for a newer golfer?
So I mean that's where golf instruction. I always say this to people: you're never going to hear a bad thing out there. A golf pro is never going to tell you something wrong. At least they shouldn't.
Okay.
But basically, there's golf instruction that is, I feel like, and this is what I've learned over the years, is there's golf instruction that is right for some people, and right and wrong for some people.
Yeah.
And this is, I'm very big on the body and the swing connection. I'm TPI certified. I'm BioSwing Dynamic certified. All these things that understand how the body works, limitations maybe with your body, and basically I can find a way to screen you, and based on how your body is built, different than mine, I'm going to tell you to do certain things. You may grip it a different way. We may hinge the club a different way. We may even adjust your stance a little bit based on how your body works. For example, my height and wingspan are going to change the way my arms go back or how they fold. So that's all independent. I have the generic posture, grip, and alignment that a new beginner should have an understanding of, but I found that doesn't always work. That doesn't always work for every person. So why? And that's where I started digging deeper into the body and that connection. And okay, well, you got your hands on the club wrong. It's not how your body works. So let's test it. Let's figure it out and go from there.
So it's tailored to each person.
Yeah.
There's the swing mechanics.
Your body's different than mine, right? So it's we're not going to do the same thing. There's some general things that are always the case, yes, but for the most part, we got to find out how your body's working. Yeah. You may have weak glutes. You may have tight hamstrings. You're a runner, let's say, right? Or you do something like that. Well, hey, maybe you can't touch your toes. Well, that's going to cause some things in your golf swing that are going to be different. So let's find that out and let's work around it, or let's fix it by stretching or something like that.
What do you think is besides coming to see you, for an average golfer, just a couple things, or if you have anything on the top of your head, just help shave some strokes off? I've heard things like put away the driver.
Yeah, I mean, we all should be able to hit the driver, but I mean, it's scoring, right?
Yeah.
I have a junior camp, and I always ask them, what's the name of this game, right? What are we trying to do? Well, we're trying to put the ball in the hole. So let's start with putting, right? And that's where the most improvement can be made is in your short shots. You're chipping, you're putting. I hit the ball just as well as, some of the guys on a tour, let's say, but they're better at putting than I am. So that's why, it's important. Short game. And we just opened this brand new facility here. It's this whole new short game area. You can practice every shot imaginable. That's where a lot of our members should go and practice and put the time in to save the shots.
Nobody practice, a lot of people don't practice putting. And I'm talking about average golfers, not professionals, right?
Right.
Everybody just wants to hit the driver.
They come to the range, they grab the driver first, and then they go to the golf course.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
But
so you think you can actually turn me into a little bit better putter?
How many times a round do you three putt?
Probably 3 or 4.
There's 3 or 4 shots.
Yeah.
Right? Even if you just 2-putt everything, there's 3 or 4 shots.
Yeah.
So that can add up, right?
That's if I can hit the green. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
But okay.
But that's it. Tiger Woods never hit every green. Tiger Woods never hit every fairway, but he got the ball in the hole and made par, made birdie more often, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Scrambling.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a 2-second break. We come back and chat a little bit more.
Perfect.
Cool. All right, we're back. I wanted to ask you, we talked a little bit before coming here that you guys have this new range facility. Mm-hmm. So tell me all about that.
Again, very fortunate to be here and a part of that. It was, discussed for a few years about changing our driving range and what can we do. And there's different courses that we've visited in the States with high-end driving ranges. and they all have these indoor facilities. And definitely the trend has gone to indoor golf. So we built this new driving range, and it's got two 16-foot garage doors out of the back of this building that we teach out of, and it houses all our fitting tools. So we fit members throughout the year now, do lessons throughout the year now. But
does that operate in the winter? Is it like heated?
Yeah, we're just about to switch over to indoor golf. So basically we shut the doors, obviously, and we put up this curtain that goes all the way around, and the white part in the middle is where you hit your shots into. And just like you would see during a lesson or during a fit, all the information or all the features that come along with TrackMan is the company we use. It's projected right onto that screen. So it's just like if you've been in any of the bars around here or Golf Max or any of those, but TrackMan. And that's the key is it's so accurate. TrackMan, everybody, when we first got it, is it accurate? How accurate is it? It is dialed in. Wow. So we have that facility, but then we also built a brand new driving range with the first in Canada TrackMan range. So the entire driving range, no matter where you go, if you're on our mats, if you're on our grass, anywhere you go, you can download this app, hit your shots, and it'll tell you and show you exactly where your shot went. You can play games on it. You can have longest drive competitions. You can have capture the flag, closest to the pin, name it.
That's so cool.
It is the coolest, and definitely, like I said, first in Canada.
Really?
So very cutting edge.
Even past like Toronto, Vancouver, all those places. Wow.
Yeah, there's about 10 at least when we did it, I think is the number that were in North America, and we were the first in Canada. Wow. So it's very new in terms of, taking a top golf concept, but making it at a private club facility.
Yeah.
So it's very cool and what you can do with it and the benefit to our members. You're out there practicing, you can put in all your different clubs that you have in your bag.
Yeah.
You hit your shot with that club, select that club, and it takes your averages. Tells you how far you hit your 7-iron on average. Yeah. You don't even have to do anything. Just hit your shots, practice.
It really dials you in.
It really can. Yeah, for sure.
How often would you suggest somebody, like the ratio from playing around versus practicing? Average guy.
Very good question, actually. Yeah, there's, the range rats that I see, it's not all about the practice. There's swing and practicing the technique of the swing, but there's a game. When we go out and play golf, you get one swing. You don't get 7 swings at your 7-iron or whatever, 10 swings at your 7-iron. You have to play a game. And if you hit a bad shot, you need to know how to get out of that bad shot. And the saying that you always hear is golf's always about the next shot, right?
Yeah.
And that's a good balance is important. So practicing for sure, working on some things, but then taking it to the golf course, putting it into play. Does it transfer? That's important.
But that's practicing more is probably better than less, and just not practicing at all. And,
yes,
and just keep going to the range, keep going to the course and wondering why you're shooting 110.
Yeah, right. Why isn't it working?
Yeah, just because you're doing the same thing over and over again without changing. A lot of players do that, and me included. Like I don't have, like I said, 2 young kids and stuff like that. It's tough, So when I have a few hours, I'm like, should I be practicing? Probably, but I want to be playing.
Yeah, that's it. I understand for sure, right? And that's different levels of golfers and different times. Right?
Yeah,
you have all the time. Sure, do the practice for an hour or two and then go play.
Yeah,
but
so you mentioned that you had some cool stories here, and we talked a little bit about caddying for Pat Perez.
Yes,
tell me about that.
Well, so we were fortunate enough to actually a former boss of mine from London, Ontario, works for Pat Perez's promotional company. David Faherty's promotional company. And they were running this Faherty Live thing across a few different golf courses in Canada and the States and asked if they could host it here. So I made the connection with my boss and sure enough, we ended up hosting it. Cool. And it's David Faherty, it's Daniel Alfredson, it's Ben Roethlisberger, it's Emmett Smith, and Pat Perez. And those guys had a competition against Pat. And so don't think anything of it, cool event, but I show up to work that day. My boss goes, "You're caddying for Pat today." I go, "What?" And I guess at that time it was the week of the Canadian Open where Pat was supposed to play. And his caddy stayed down in Toronto to walk the golf course and learn. And
Oh,
and
okay.
do all the yardages, right? And so he didn't travel up to here. Of course, I'm going to caddy for Pat Perez, no problem.
You ever been on the bag?
Not for a PGA Tour player.
Okay.
No, I've been on the bag as a caddy before, but not for a guy of his level for sure. And, so I meet him that day and just, wanted to, as a golfer, I kind of knew what I would want out of a caddy, or what I do want out of a caddy.
Yeah.
Stay out of the way, keep your mouth shut and rake my bunker. Right?
Okay.
That's it. And that's kind of the mindset I went into it. Is he's good. He's way better than me. And so I'm not going to give him any advice, or sure, I can tell him.
But you know the course.
That's what I said to him. So I'm like, I've been here 13 years. If you need any help on the greens, let me know. Right? And just kind of left it at that.
Oh, okay.
But we get out there, and I realized as I'm, giving him the yardages on every shot, he is dialed into the yardage. Like I see a yardage and it's 199. Okay, it's 200, right? Like it's if I get it in 205, I'm happy. I lasered 199 for him on a par 5, and he literally hit it to the number within a half yard. And so I realized, I'm like, I got to be accurate. I can't lie to this guy, right? Like I can't be like, oh yeah, it's 200. No, it's 199. But basically, I realized I was like, should I like take this like more seriously? Should I like apply for a job? like he's potentially going to this live tour, right, and making tons of money. What if he needs a caddy? And so I said to him on the 18th hole, I'm like, you need any help? Like, do you need anything like after this? And he goes, my caddy's my best friend from high school. I'm good. I'm like, okay, thank you. If
you got to throw it out there.
If you need any help or anything, right? But what a cool experience for me to be kind of inside the ropes at my own golf course, carrying the bag for Pat Perez, a beauty.
Yeah.
And
is it heavy?
His bag was heavy. Yeah. And I mean, he had double straps, but I thought I'd be a tough guy and only carry it really mostly on one shoulder.
Yeah.
My shoulder and hip were hurting that next day.
I was fine. Like, imagine like 4 days
of carrying it all the time.
Carrying it the whole, like, oh my God. Like,
oh yeah. You got to be almost in better shape than the golfer.
Yeah, I know. Like I can't even walk 18. Do you have any like pet peeves of like what you see on the golf course people doing? Maybe not even here.
Oh man, where do I begin? Yeah,
there's so many.
There's so many things, and golfers are funny, right? We're all superstitious. We all have our quirks in a way. Yeah. I do things that I'm sure are silly to others, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, one of those. Oh gosh, the best one is I step up to the tee and I accidentally knock the golf ball off the tee.
Yeah.
And the guy in the group goes, "Oh, that's one." Right?
Everyone does that.
Everybody does that, right? Like I don't know why everybody thinks that's so funny. The golf joke, right? But there's so many. I'm sure little things that I could,
Yeah. Golf has really exploded the last few years. Have you noticed a lot of like, let's say, quote unquote, COVID golfers?
For sure.
Trying to get into the club, or? Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, our membership's maxed out. Most golf courses around now don't have any room. COVID was good for the golf industry in a sense. It was the only thing you could do. In Ontario for sure, it was like, golf was actually restricted there, but in Quebec we were good. So, golf really took off. It was the safe, get outdoors, social distance.
Don't touch the flagpole.
Don't touch. We accommodated all these different things though. Yeah, it was like, crazy. Okay, we can come up with these things, and it really took off, and good for us, good for the industry. Like I said, we're selling golf clubs to people that never even golfed before. We're selling memberships to them. We're teaching them. We're fitting. It grew crazy.
How many members are here?
We have about 1,200. I don't know the exact number, but around 1,200. And then there's social members. We have a Royal 9.
Just social members?
Yes.
You're just here to chill?
Just come here to eat.
Okay.
eat and drink and bring some friends.
What's the membership process like to get in, if you don't mind telling me?
Again, I'm not the best on that, but I can tell you basically
a basic overview.
Yeah, there's an initiation fee.
Okay.
It's paid out over years. You would have annual dues, golf dues and a bar tab, let's say. But basically, you have to be referred by a couple people.
That's the cool part.
Yeah,
so
you gotta.
Exclusive.
Well, that's it, right? We're, I don't want to say we don't want to take in anybody, but it's just like you got to make sure that you're going to pay your bill is kind of I think the main reason, right? But that you're, not going to, wreck the golf course or do something crazy.
Not a pile of poo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I did. You said that.
Yeah.
But basically, it's an interview process, and make sure you can cover all your bases. So
That's really cool.
yeah.
And then I never heard of that social membership. So so you can't golf here. You just come and eat.
There are some golfing privileges.
Okay.
Here we have that 9-hole golf course, the Royal 9.
Okay.
And you can play there Sundays after 3 p.m. only.
Okay.
So you can play there once a week, basically. You can play the main course 4 or 5 times a year and pay a green fee, essentially.
Okay. So like people come here just to hang out after, even if they're not playing that day.
Yeah.
Just kind of
Typically, there's a lot of politicians, there's a lot of government, there's a lot of business that can happen here. There's a lot of real estate agents seem to be able to golf.
Yeah.
But basically, it's a social thing, but to host and to have clients out here to show off and maybe treat them and the whole business world, I guess, right?
Yeah. So the food must be like dope.
Chef's very good here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So you guys eating well.
We're doing okay. Yeah. Staff meal is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So we said let's get some extra content. You said you agreed to show us around the range, maybe take us out on the 9. So maybe we can head out there in a little bit and get some extra content.
Well, I got to see your skills, right?
I'm actually okay. I'm going to say on the record, I'm actually quite nervous to swing a golf club in front of you.
Don't worry, I haven't hit a golf ball in a month, so.
Really?
Well, a long time.
It's been a long time. Okay, but you've probably seen worse than me, so just think of that person when you see me.
Just remember, I charge by the tip.
But yeah, for sure. Eh? We'll keep it at like 5 then.
All right.
But yeah, no. Thanks again, Marc, for doing this.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And the Royal for hosting this, letting us come and use this facility. It's beautiful. Hopefully, we can get my clients out here one day if I can be so lucky to get a membership one day.
There you go. Yeah, we'd be happy to have you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Cheers.